All right, what is up, everybody? We are the Survivor Buffs coming at you, and it is time to podcast. Okay, today we are talking about future Survivor seasons. There's a whole lot of ideas out there for making new seasons, and we are the best, right, Adam?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So we have some ideas. Jeff's a constant listener of our podcast. So Jeff, props listen in here because we can make your show a lot better. So yeah, we have ideas. Do you have any ideas for returnees, or is it all newbies, Adam?
Mine could work as a returnee season, but I feel like it would probably would clearly be better as an all newbie season.
Yeah, I have a lot of newbies.
Mine would either have to be all newbie or all returnee. It couldn't be like a mixed season.
We don't like those anyways, so it's fine.
Yeah.
So yeah, I have I got a lot of newbies as well. I have some returnees ideas if we dive into that, but mostly I think the interesting things will be the newbie seasons.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. What do we? Because this is part 2 for those watching. Go check out part 1. We're thinking of maybe doing this as a recurring series, maybe once every couple months, pitching future season theme ideas. I'm trying to think of what are ones from last time. Well, I did a family members one where the tribes were split up by family.
I know I put like City Slicker versus like Southern, like so. Wait, I don't know. Maybe that's my one for this week. It's close to it.
Maybe you did Challenge Beasts versus.
Oh, I know what I did. I said I had a returnees pitch, and I said like goats versus winners versus Challenge Beasts.
Yeah.
So that was interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. So, do you want to do yours first, or and for everyone watching, first of all, feel free to comment below if you think there's any possibility we see these seasons, or how they would work, or how they wouldn't work. Feel free to get involved in this live chat if you're watching this live. But Gideon's going to pitch an idea. I'm going to pitch an idea, and we're going to try to be the skeptics. I'll try to think of why it won't work, or maybe why it will work. Maybe I'm on board from the get-go. But do you want to go first, or do you want me to say mine first?
I'm just going to start. I'll start off because I feel like mine is just going to rip the Band-Aid off because of how outlandish some might see mine to be. Okay. Especially the older generation might not get this theme idea. Okay. So I was inspired. I took inspiration from a boxing event that happened a few weeks ago. It was called Battle of the Platforms, and it was TikTokers versus YouTubers. Now, for those of you watching that only know me from the Survivor Buffs, I do have a TikTok account with over 3 million followers over there, and I know a lot of TikTokers there's actually 3 TikTokers on Survivor 41. And so I thought, since they're already diving into TikTok and having TikTokers on Survivor already, why not have 10? And why not add 10 YouTubers and have a Survivor TikTok versus YouTube?
Yeah. Well, first of all, congrats on 3 million. Didn't realize you hit that mark. So probably a younger season. No?
I think it would be. I think, the TikToker's broad because, there's a lot of TikTokers out there. There's a lot of YouTubers out there. I don't think it necessarily has to be so young. I think you would top out about around 40 though. I don't think you would find anybody over 40. Now, if you think about it, there's a whole father on Survivor this season, 41, that's about to air, who is a TikToker. So,
which one is that?
Your winner pick, or no, my winner pick. What's his name? Yes. Yeah.
I found out he's. I was talking to Luke, who is the Idled Out, the YouTube channel, the Survivor. Yeah. Go check that out if you guys don't follow Idled Out. He's up there with Peridium in my book as kind of the 2 best Survivor editors on YouTube. He was telling me he went to high school with someone who married Ricard, or I forget how he said he knew him, but he knew him. So it was cool. It's like, hey, that was our. I think that was my winner pick too. No.
Your winner pick, I wanted him, but I just wanted to be different than you, so I went with the doctor from Nashville.
Oh yeah, who was my number 2? David, I think.
Yeah, David. Yeah.
Watch them be the first 2 boots.
I mean, we already see them as threats, so that should tell you something. But anyway, we're getting off topic. I think, I think it'd be interesting to see a battle of the platforms. Obviously, something I feel very strongly about as a TikToker. TikTokers are seen as like lazy because they just sit around and produce 15-second videos and expected the world to be handed to them. You know, YouTubers are seen as like these like hustlers who like grind and edit hours and hours on end. You know, we know YouTubers, we know how hard it is to be a YouTuber. There's definitely a rivalry between the two that would be interesting to see. And also, if you do TikTok versus YouTubers, you definitely have like some not pre-gaming, but like people who already know each other for sure within the community, just online, which would play an interesting factor.
Now, do you think you could mix it up even more and add like a third tribe for like maybe Twitch stars, or is pretty much everyone that's big on Twitch already a big YouTuber?
I think
TikTok?
I mean, it's hard to find one Twitch streamer that isn't also on YouTube. You know,
okay.
It's like freaking Ninja. You know, like like his big platform is Twitch, but he still has a YouTube with like over 5 million subs. So it's like, who cares?
Yeah. My main concern is, and this is just me, and I don't follow TikTok. I have one TikTok follower, and it's the Survivor Buffs TikTok. So go ahead and check that one out, guys.
Check it out. Okay. Anyways,
but from what I've heard, I don't think you fall under this, but from what I've been told from my cousins who are big TikTok guys, is that I think at least the perception, that's the word I'm trying to think of, the perception of like social media stars is that like when they're alone in front of a camera, they're, you know, super charismatic and charming and outgoing, but when they're actually put into like real world situations, they're very like antisocial people, or they you know, kind of the opposite of a people's person, or what you'd think you would need to have, you know, good social politics in the show. So that, if I had to think of one like thing that popped in my head is like a potential
is that they might not pop on television.
Yeah,
well, of course I agree with you. You know, there's definitely some TikTokers who are like that. I'm not the most social person outside of TikTok, but I would still play the game of Survivor. I mean, I think in order to do this, you would have to pick people who already know what Survivor is. I mean, and this is the perfect opportunity to draw in from YouTube, one of the biggest YouTubers who has stated, and hey, thank you, and stated how big of a Survivor fan he is, a YouTuber with over 60 million subscribers, Mr. Beast. He held a Survivor fan? He held a Survivor competition himself for a YouTube video.
Wow.
Carl, one of his best friends, has already said he would love to go on the show. He's expressed that he's applied. Same with his other friends, Chandler. And so, I mean, I think it's a perfect place to get him involved and bring a whole new audience into Survivor, because I mean, we're talking about this guy gets 40 million views a video, and he stated how much of a big Survivor fan he is. I just think it's the perfect scenario to bring him on. Because he could do it. He could survive out there. I mean, he does all these crazy challenges. I fully believe he could do it. I do think the problem. What? Did
he apply before he like became who he is today?
He's still applying. He's still applying. He said he literally said, Carl, his friend, said, I'm still applying, and he's like Chandler wants to apply, and like Carl himself is like he has over 10 million subs. It's like, and like they're just not letting him in. Yeah, exactly. It's crazy. Like, they're letting in these TikTokers who have under 200,000 followers. And I'm not follower shaming them, but like, come on. Like,
now, are you only suggesting this because you are a TikTok star and you would just want to be on?
No, but they should have me on. No, but I just think Look, man, you're asking for suggestions. I'm just telling you what's selling. And I mean, I think it would help the ratings. I think it would bring ratings up. Having people that already have audience themselves is perfect.
Yeah. Well, that's what that is kind of what Survivor's, I believe, South Africa started doing when they did Survivor.
Like bring on like the soccer stars to try to
Yeah. Well, the first like 2 or 3, I think Survivor South Africa is currently on season 8, and if I understand correctly, the first few seasons was only like soccer stars, other athletes, musicians. Like it was people who had an audience, and it gave them ratings like instantly. Like it was a hit.
Yeah, and that's
now they've dipped into fans auditioning, but
because they got the ratings from the social media stars and the soccer stars and all that. I think it's something that Survivor should look into. I do think like I was saying before, I think the problems do stem from the TikTokers. Like they might not pop on television, but that's a casting issue. Like as casting, you couldn't go for the people like Charli D'Amelio and like everybody else that doesn't really have a personality off of the 15-second videos. You would have to go for the people that, one, may already know what Survivor is, which is a lot more people than people realize.
Mm-hmm.
And then 2, you just have to gauge how people's personalities are going to work in the tribe dynamics. You just got to, in the interviews and the casting interviews, people do this for a living. These casting people do this for a living. They know who's going to pop and who's not. So
now, is your idea
just
TikTokers versus YouTubers, or is it specifically like people with a following? Like, can it be someone who has like maybe 500 subs on YouTube? Or are you talking people specifically with not millions of fans?
I'm talking to the point where it is their career, where they can say under their career, beside their name, TikToker. Like I'm to the point where I can say my career is TikToker. Like that's where I make my money is TikTok. So like that's my profession technically. Yeah. I'm a TikToker, which is embarrassing, but it's what I have. It's what I have to say. Same with everybody else. It has to be their profession is what I'd say. Like you don't have to be huge, but you have to be big enough to where it's at least your part-time job.
So Mr. Beast would probably
like Peridium's a YouTuber. Peridium is a YouTuber. He makes money.
That's what
he
I
is a
YouTuber. That's what I wanted to say is like if they were going to do this, I feel like they would have to bring from the YouTube side at least. You would have to bring like one person who I say one person. I'll tell you why I say one specifically, because I feel like you'd have to bring one person who does Survivor for YouTube,
and it would be Peridium. Peridium's the only guy who could do it.
You think?
Mm-hmm.
What about these two guys right here?
Adam. I appreciate it, but not quite yet. Peridium's like cracking, like his views go into the mainstream. Like people know.
And that's the reason I say one is because, for those who don't know, the Survivor like YouTube community, Peridium, like a lot of us, like we know each other and we're friends, so it'd be kind of weird if,
it's a weird family.
Yeah, it's a weird family. We don't have like meetings or like a group chat or anything, but everyone for the most part knows each other, and some of us work with each other in a certain degree. If you guys saw Peridium was on our last 2 episodes, go check those out.
Yeah, for sure.
So that's why I think it would have to be one, because
it would have to be one, because if you bring 2, then the 2 are going to know each other already,
which is either means they're going to be immediately booted or they're going to run the game till the end.
Yeah, exactly. So, but yeah, I mean, Peridium, like he can fully say being a Survivor YouTuber is his job.
Yeah.
So like, I would have no problem with him going on. Like, golly, they even called Will a YouTuber. He literally had one video that popped off, and that was it. Like, he wasn't even making money from it.
Well, I think they call him a viral star or something. I don't know. The only bad thing about Peridium, the only bad thing about Peridium going on Survivor would mean that we don't get any Peridium videos for a couple weeks.
Actually, you can pre-make videos and schedule them, so you would still be good.
I guess, but just doing one video a week must take up a ton of his time. Imagine pre-making.
Well,
like
I feel like going on Survivor is enough motivation to make like 8. You know, you get a warning, so
he would do it too. I think he would do it.
I don't see why not. I mean, I would drop when I say I would drop everything I have right now to go on the show. I would. I don't care. I would drop out of college and do it. That's how much I don't care. Like I would drop out of college.
Yeah. Even if it changed your life?
It wouldn't change my life.
No. The only reason I say that is because I was actually going out to dinner yesterday with or 2 days ago with Crazy. If any of you guys are Big Brother fans, Crazy James, he was the fan favorite in season 9. He lives just a couple blocks down, and he was telling me like, and that was back then. He was on in 2007, I believe. He's like, yeah, everyone had a completely. He's like, when you go on a reality show like Survivor or Big Brother, you pretty much have to accept the fact that you are going to have a completely different life afterward, which is weird because you would think that's more the case now with social media, but I actually think that's less of the case now because of social media. You have more control over public perception of who you are. As opposed to back then, the only thing that fans could see about you was what you saw on the episodes. Nowadays, they can see that Rodney is a really cool, motivational guy on
which is why
the gym all the time.
Which is why like Fair Play is such a was a polarizing figure back then, just because you couldn't tell he was a softie behind the screen. But now
is he a softie?
Yeah.
All right. Okay, yeah, I would be down for that season. I would watch
I'm just saying it pulled, it was a good boxing match. I just want to see it in Survivor. Might as well.
What was the match? Who fought?
TikTok versus YouTube.
Yeah, who was like the main event?
Bryce Hall and Austin McBroom.
Oh, was that the one where Bryce Hall like got knocked out or he got like beat up really bad?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right, mine is. I'll get to move on to mine.
Okay.
Mine. So the last time, if you guys watch part 1, or you go and watch it after this, you can watch these in whatever order. Mine was a completely outlandish one that I've never heard anyone say before. Came straight from my own dome. Super probably would never happen. So for this one, I wanted to be a little more conservative and do one that I know fans.
And I was outlandish this time.
Yeah. And that I know fans would have said this before, and I'm pretty sure people would like this. I feel like most of what I'm going to talk about, this idea is just convincing people that might not like it why I think it would be a good idea. And that is Survivor Back to Basics. Believe it or not, I think your idea is actually more likely to happen. And let me first explain why, and then I'll explain it to those who don't fully understand what I'm saying.
I agree with you, but explain.
What I mean. The reason why I think... Well, actually, let me first explain what I mean by back to basics, then why I think yours is actually more likely to happen.
Okay.
By back to basics, I'm sure you know what I mean because we talked about this before. But
we've talked.
Basically, it would be the number of people doesn't really matter, but maybe would prefer like a shorter cast, like a 16.
I would prefer 16. Yeah, I would prefer 16 for this idea, honestly.
Two tribes, and and you would have to tell them it's back to the basics. I feel like you can't tease them.
Yeah, you can't make them force them go find idols and crap.
Yeah, so no advantages, no fire tokens, no, what are all the islands? No Exile Island, no Edge of Extinction, no Redemption Island, no Ghost Islands. Is that all the islands?
Yeah, this sounds great.
No islands, no fire token, no advantages. The kicker is no hidden immunity idols. Bring back the auction, bring back the car challenge. Make the merge happen when like half the cast is gone. The last couple seasons, it's like the merge happens and there's like 14 people sitting at tribal and the jury becomes way too big. And like the first 2 or 3 jurors have like such little scope of what's actually going on in the game. back, if you look at the original seasons, the juries were like 7 people. Nowadays, it's like, well, on Edge of Extinction and on Winners at War, it was an 8. It was I guess Winners at War would have been a 16-person jury. Like, to me, that's just like,
yeah, it's crazy.
Like who was voted? Amber. Like, Amber was on the island for like 5 days. How was she a jury member? So small jury. Yeah, and bring like rewards back. I mean, nowadays they either don't show all the rewards, or the rewards are like a steak dinner. You know, rewards back then was like Jerry and Colby like took a vacation on the Barrier Reef and had like a night at the hotel. Like, you know, I miss like the rewards where they get to like or the rewards where they go to like the local village or something. Take it out of Fiji.
In Africa, you know, like Africa had probably my favorite reward where they went.
Yeah.
You know, and it was even though apparently that wasn't much of a reward because they got sick, but Lex and Ethan going to the village and like they
Ethan
got money,
soccer,
bartering a goat, all that.
That was good stuff. So that's what I mean. That's what I mean by back to the basics. I feel like the big one is going to the 2 things people are going to argue with this are, one, hidden immunity idols is the best thing to happen to Survivor, which is true. I mean, the best thing as far as like something production threw into the mix.
Yeah. Okay, I can get behind this.
And taking that out, and yes, I agree. If you had to keep one thing in, it would be that.
Yeah, that is very harsh, Adam, to take away the hidden immunity idols, because it just seems like that's become such an integral part of the game.
Right.
Like, I understand. Yes, they didn't have it till Guatemala, but still.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and the thing with back to the basics, but I feel like if you were going to do back to basics, you would have to do it without an idol, because like, what is back to basics without an idol? I mean, we've only really had like, I mean, look at something like Millennials versus Gen X. Like, do they have any advantages in that? They didn't have like an island that you went to. I don't think they had any advantages, and they're definitely not Cow Wrong. And that was only a couple of years ago. They didn't have any weird. The only weird thing about that was that they voted someone back into the game, which will
wrong?
Rightfully so, never happen again. Yeah.
Jury removal.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was.
Or they voted a jury. They voted someone out of the game. Yeah.
Voted somebody off the jury, which is just insane.
Yeah. Maybe the single worst thing production's ever thrown. But it's
not a bad.
So we really wouldn't. So if you do back to the basics minus, but including the idol, it's really just going back to what Survivor was like, 6 to 10 years ago. Like, it's really not that far. I'm talking like going back to what Survivor was in the original, like, I guess you could say like it was really Exile Island where they started mixing things up, and that was season 12, right?
Exile Island. Yeah. No.
It was 12. It was 12. Yeah. 10 Vanuatu, 11 Guatemala. Yeah, 12 Exile Island. Yeah, so I'm talking pre-12. And that could be 3 tribes, 1 tribe, whatever. But that's what I'm talking about, back to basics. Here's why I think yours is more likely. Because yours is something new. It's something like modern. Like you couldn't do that 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 15, 20 years ago. Now is when you have to do that. So it's very immediate. Like True. You said, it would bring ratings and it wouldn't just bring people back. It would bring new people in. I mean, there'd be so many TikTok fans, kids, high schoolers that would watch it just because they want to see how far their favorite TikToker is going to go. Even if that person's first boot, maybe they'll at least be sucked in by them. So there's really nothing but upside to your idea. With my idea, the only reason I say no is because the producer, Matthew, I always forget his name, Matt something, of Survivor. He's like the number 2 behind Jeff. He was asked this before, and he said at this point we would never do a season without Immunity Idol. So that's the only reason I say that. So
Yeah.
we'll see. What do you think?
We will.
Would you watch that season?
I would, but I wouldn't be. I don't like the idol idea. I'm gonna be honest. The idol idea, I don't know. It seems a little too far having no idols.
But tell me this: how many seasons? Like, what's your? And if you have to think about it for a while, then you don't have to tell me. But like, what would you say your, like, in no order, your 5 favorite Survivor seasons are?
20, 28,
personal favorite.
20, 28, 40, 17.
17.
17, and then one.
Okay, so you put you enjoy Gabon better than Pearl Islands.
A little bit, yeah. Sorry, bro. Yeah, don't. It's my personal rankings, okay? We're not ranking here. It's just me.
Yeah, but they're wrong. They're wrong personal ranking. Your opinion is wrong.
Okay. I love Pearl Islands. Can we just establish that there? I do like Pearl Islands.
So I guess it depends on the person, because like my personal favorite seasons are 2028, but besides that, it would be like 7, 8.
Dang, Coach Drew's crying in the club because you like All Stars.
So and then like 13. So it's like most of my, and then Micronesia's like 6. So like most of my favorite seasons are what you consider old school. So if you're more of a new school person, like it sounds like you are, I could see why. And honestly, Gabon, what's really said and done, like seems it's one of those kind of like teetering the line of old school and new school.
It is teetering the line. I'll agree with you there, but you have to call it old school because of Bob's fake idol plays.
Yeah. So that's back to the basics. And the thing with that is you could not do back to basics with returnees. I think that would ruin it.
Oh no. Don't take the returnees' legs from under them, you know?
They would
like
be mad.
You're gonna make Russell Hantz play without an idol? Nah.
They would be so demotivated the whole time to do anything. They would be like, I'm on the wrong season. Now, if you got accepted to Survivor and then they were like, welcome to Survivor, back to basics, would you be like, well, what do you think your reaction would be if Jeff said that was your season theme?
Me? Because I'm a new school player, I would be terrified. It would force me to play more social, though.
But would you be like, oh, man? Like, would you be disappointed? Like, oh, I wish I had a better season? Or would you be like, what do you think?
I would just be happy to be on Survivor, but, I mean, I think it would be, I wouldn't be too mad because I'm on Survivor, but I would be a little
here's the thing.
I'm not going to lie.
If you won that season, I think you would be regarded as one of the better winners. Because it's right. Like, oh, he won with nothing. He won with just social politics, which when you do that makes you realize just how great some of the early Survivor winners, really were, like Ethan and V.
Yeah, Ethan's underrated.
But and Tina. But
yeah,
I think those are two good picks. I would love to see both of those seasons. I would be excited for that season. I think for both of our seasons.
Yeah, I mean, same. Yeah, I think those are good. I think those are two pretty good season ideas.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, tell us what you think. Would you like to see TikTokers versus YouTube stars? Would you like to see Survivor back to the basics? What do you guys think? Leave a comment below. Check out our TikTok, our Discord. The links to both are in the description. Subscribe, like the video, and have a great 4th of July.